Thanks for joining me for another edition of Grew with Portia. I'm your host, Portia Booker, and yes, this is my real name. Grew with Portia targets those who are curious, eager, and hungry for new information that can aid in their personal and professional development. Malcolm X once said, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." Never stop learning. Be a sponge for the rest of your life. Before I jump into my topic for today, I want to start off with a little history lesson. Thanks for joining me in the studio today, Miss Tach from Masonna Films. Welcome, Tach.
Hey, thank you for having me, Portia. I'm so excited to be here.
I know, right? Aren't we always excited? All right, so March is National Optimism Month. That means that negative thoughts are not allowed. Keep your attitude during this month. Think positive. There are a few different ways you can help your employees and clients stay optimistic during the month. Clean your mind, avoid becoming an emotional leech, and change negatives into positives. So, Taj, how do you stay optimistic in our current society where you're constantly surrounded by so much negativity?
How I just kind of block it out. That's what I do. I always kind of look at the big picture and just keep in the back of my head, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do. I'm not going to let nothing and nobody and no negative energy or no negative comments or how people go crazy online. I just said, all right, this is what I want to do. And I focus on that and I just kind of block everything out and keep that tunnel vision on the goal.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. For me,
Yes.
I do a couple things. So I go on what's called social media strikes.
Right.
Because, social media is flooded with everything. People put their whole emotions in it. You see the news now on social media. If you have an issue with comparing yourself to other people, you see that as well, and that can bring your spirits down. So I do social media strikes. Second, another thing I do is I'm a firm believer when there's adversity, there's opportunity. I believe there's an opportunity in every negative situation. It's just all about your perspective,
You're right.
And another thing I do is I set a goal every single day. Because to me, if I reach that goal, then I've achieved something. Like one of my goals at work, I try to make somebody smile at least once a day. Well, because of my personality, I can do it easily.
Yeah.
But, sometimes it's a struggle, right?
Yeah.
You wake up on the wrong side of the bed some nights, some days, or you don't get enough sleep, or you go to bed with too much on your heart like I tend to do and not decompress, or I call it, when I write in my notebook, I just call it like detoxing or just letting the bad blood come through the pen onto the paper.
Yeah, right. It's a great way to vent. Exactly.
Yeah, and I try to be as positive and optimistic as possible. Because even my friends would tell you that I try to see the positive in every situation, and that's not always easy.
You're right.
And I think too, Tosh, you'll probably agree with me here, is that it's all about your mindset.
Yeah. It's so easy to get, mixed up in some of the wrong things out here. You gotta be mentally strong to survive out here, and you gotta just know what you want to do and just go ahead and do it. No one can break you. No one can get you down. Stay focused, passionate, and just believe in you, and don't worry about nothing that can't support you or help you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tosh, did you make a vision board this year?
Vision board? Well, I can say yeah. I don't call it a vision board. I have like a sketchbook where I'll kind of just like write down everything I want to do. Whether it's get the CD cover done, or get these locations for that time, or I want to get these shirts done, and just it could be just random things that I'll just jot down, and then as time go on, I'll strategically place what's most important or what I can achieve quicker, get that done, and then anything that I feel like that's too far-fetched, I'll just reach out to people that can help me get it done as soon as possible. Yeah, so that's pretty much my vision board. I look at it as.
So I made a big vision board. You know those poster boards that you used to use for the science fair that's, has the big portion in the middle and the two side panels. So I created my vision board, which, shame on me, one side is not done, but the idea is there. Just the pictures are not put on it. Okay. Like I have it all sketched out on a piece of paper, just the pictures aren't there. Well, my vision board, I put a focus on it. So I kind of made it, and you'd understand this because you understand photography. So I made it photography themed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I put Portia's focus for 2020. And so the O and the zeros in 20 are all lenses. And so when I have Portia's focus, I have the little L's that are inside of the camera when you're looking through the viewfinder. I have those around it. And at each section of the vision board, I have some type of photography related quote or photography related term. So it's different, because I'm a firm believer.
Sounds like it's very, very inspirational, something to kind of keep you on your toes, Well,
yeah, and it's all about staying focused. It goes back to that and having your vision and really setting those goals. Because to me, if you don't set a goal every day, then it's like, what are you doing? Are you just, I don't know. Somebody said, are you just living for the weekend? I remember I saw something like that. So this is the quote that inspired me to make it photography themed. Life is like a camera. Focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, take another shot.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that on...
I gotta use that.
Yeah. I saw it on Instagram. I did, like maybe in December, and I said, that's going to be my theme for my vision board this year.
Right.
So, Tach, what does it mean to remove negativity out of your life?
To remove negativity out of your life, it just means to, I know I've done this, pretty much kind of zero in on what it is in your life that might be detrimental or poisonous or not helping you get from point A to B or C. Eliminated it, just eliminating anything. People, I know at one point in my life, even when I was in college in New York City, I was commuting back from Jersey to New York every day, and prior to me starting college, I had, friends we used to hang out all the time, go over here, go over there. Once I enrolled in that school, I literally stopped talking to everybody, and I was just, my goal was going back and forth, came home, go to sleep, wake up next morning, and I succeeded. Had I been coming back home, hanging out with my friends 2 a.m, then turning around, waking up in the morning, trying to go to class and tired and falling asleep, so I kind of just eliminated everybody and then just focused on that because that's what was going to help me in my life. And sometimes you just got to give people up. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be your husband, it could be your boyfriend, but if they're not adding any love or support or anything to you to help you grow, then that has to be removed. Whether it's watching too much TV or being online all day or whatever it is, you have to get those things out the way so you can get where you want to be, basically. I think
I agree. And sometimes I read a quote too that said the way that you are depends on your circle. Your personality is based on your circle. And, I've been trying to be very conscious of that, into my adult life. Like, when you're in high school, you have the cliques and you want to fit in with the popular group.
Right.
Well, me, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I don't need all these friends. I don't even want them.
When you start getting older, that's how you start feeling. Because I know back in the day, I used to hang with so many people. But now I look around and it's me, my computer, and my notebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I've started kicking people out of my circle, the last couple years because when I looked back at the way I was treated by some people, it's like, you know how you meet people and you want them in your circle, but they don't want you necessarily in their close circle.
Yeah, I know how that is.
And I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I wanting this person in my circle when they don't value me the same way that I value them?
hmm Yeah, it could be crazy. I always was kind of a loner in a way. Like I could go out by myself, go like how I traveled out there to see you guys. I came by myself and home by myself. I just go out and just do me on me.
I hear that.
And don't have to, worry about a clique or a group of people, you feel all big when you all these people, and I go out and I shine.
I hear that.
People gravitate to you when they see that you can stand on your own and just do what you do, so it works out.
I agree. I'm the same way. Taj. I have no problem with traveling by myself, going wherever I want to go. I mean, I've traveled many places alone. I mean, when I took my first television job, I moved out of state 900 miles away from home by myself.
Wow.
Had my own apartment, had my own life. I mean, brand new city, brand new state, brand new people. I didn't know anybody. And, I made my way. And now it's been roughly a year that I've been away, a year and a half roughly-ish, that I moved back home to Cleveland. And a lot of those people that I met down in Tulsa are close friends of mine. Some of them I talk to on a regular basis, as in like weekly. So
I see, and you're doing great too out there. I see.
I know, right? It's just so funny. Life can take you in so many different directions. Taj, do you think that there is any situation where an optimistic outlook is hard to have?
Well, let me see. Optimistic outlook. Not really. You just gotta just know your limits. Be open to change. I think life is about, just being open to changes. Just being able to adapt to new environments, new people, and just using those opportunities to learn off of those experiences and things of that nature. But I don't think it's hard. I don't think so. Yeah.
I agree. I think in every situation, as negative as it may appear, I think there's optimism there. There was a book that I read, The Game of Life by Francis Scovel Shinn. One of the first quotes in the beginning of that book, it says, "Man is not your enemy. Man is not your friend. Man is your teacher."
Wow, that's deep.
And, when I thought about it in that way, I said, oh, my goodness, if this quote ain't smack me from here to there, I don't know what hasn't. But I think life is about just learning all the time.
Exactly.
It's not about being, stagnant, because if you were supposed to be stagnant, then you would stay the same age, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and just being open to opinions too. Sometimes the way I may think may not be the way that I should think, and just listening to other people, and sometimes I have a lot of people in my life that pretty much talk to me and just say, you should do this or you should do that, or maybe you should think about doing this, or And sometimes I used to be stubborn, like, well, I want to do this the way I want to do it, But sometimes you just gotta open it up and just be like, all right, let me try it this way and see how it happens, Whether it's anything in life, it could be, your homework, how you get to work, or whatever it is. It can just gotta be open to change and just try it out. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not, but I think you'll figure it out during the process. What works better for you?
I agree. It just goes back to my vision board theme of, photography. If the first shot doesn't work, take another one.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Exactly.
there's enough film and frames in there to to go again.
Right? And sometimes you fail and you learn from that.
Hmm.
You just pick yourself up, figure out what it was you did wrong, do it different, and you'll win. You'll win.
So we're gonna jump right into our topic for today. I want to introduce who my guest is. We have Miss Tach from Masonna Films. So Tach is a graduate
Hey.
from the Art Institute of New York City with an interactive media design and multimedia and web design degree. She owned and professionally controlled a recording studio in her house for more than 4 years. She worked at the Emmy Award winning on screen entertainment studio, where she worked on several big projects like Reading Rainbow. And, Taj, she is a Jacqueline of all trades, is what I call you.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
welcome, Taj. Let's start
Yes.
with a basic question. What sparked your interest in getting into the film industry?
I think it it goes back to when I was a kid. I used to be in the house watching TV, and all the little commercials come on, and I used to look at the graphics and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how do people do that, or I want to learn how to do that when I get older. And it kind of warped into, when I got into high school, I took all the graphic and animation classes, and then I warped into going into college and then just enrolling into the whole video production and media courses and things like that. It just kind of spiraled out of control, but it all just kind of fell back on a passion that I had in my heart that I just never let go. Even though I didn't attack it nonstop, it was something that I just later on in life I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick with this. This is what I love. This is what I want to do. Yeah.
Hey, I feel that. It's funny, Taj. I originally wanted to be a film director right out of high
Yeah.
school.
Okay.
I remember our senior year, we had to, maybe it was our freshman year, we filled out this like piece of paper that talked about our future. Well,
Mhm.
you forget about it. That's like 4 years later, and they bring this piece of paper back to you saying, "Oh, you filled this out about what you want to do with your future." And I looked at it, and one of the things I said for a career that I wanted for myself was to be a film director. But when I
Yes.
started in college, I was going to be an English teacher because I love the English language. I love,
Uh-huh.
everything about words. Well, that changed the very first day I got into college. I went into the newsroom and that was it.
Right? Yeah.
So, kind of a similar path, but more on the, I guess, very scripted and very much
Uh-huh.
structured path versus, when it comes to entertainment and film, there is some structure, but you can bend the rules.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can bend the rules a lot more. So, how did you, land your first role as an actress, Taj?
Well, honestly, when I created my web series Loyalty, that was a way for me to, kind of force myself out there and get like hands-on experience. And from there, I kind of created a little reel from the little clips that I got from the show. And I reached out to a casting agency in New York called Central Casting. I signed up. I went up there to their office. They took pictures of me. I had filled out all this paperwork, and they kind of put me on their file. And that's how I was able to get like these roles in like Orange is the New Black and Power and New Amsterdam and these shows like that. So that was just something that I put on my visual board, contact the casting agency. So when I was going through the steps of trying to be an actress, that was one thing that I put down, and that's when I searched for Central Casting. I went up there and signed up, and that was how I pretty much forced myself out there by getting my own show together and then just reaching out to a casting agency so that they can put me out there and get me into some things. Yeah.
I hear that. That leads to a lot of questions I have. So, was this Central Casting Agency the first one that you applied for, or did you go through several other ones?
Um, yeah. Well, they were the first one I applied for. There actually are a few, and I know a lot of listeners might have heard of them. Casting Network is
Mm-hmm.
one that's really good, and I know you probably heard of Backstage,
Mm-hmm.
where you go on, you sign up. There could be like a monthly fee or a yearly fee, which is it's pretty good because once you start getting hired for these jobs, it'll pay all that money back that you put into that.
Mm-hmm.
And on these websites and stuff like that, you create your profile, you upload your photos, your headshots, and then you can kind of put a resume of what you can do if you're a dancer. You could do fire sticks or whatever it is. You could just because
Right.
when the casting director is looking through your profile, they're like, oh, okay, well that she here could do that. Oh, well, yeah, contact them or whatever. So that is really good too. There's a lot of social media websites out there where you can create a profile and they're looking for you, and it's some big shows like Joker and a lot of big projects that you can get into from having a profile out there too, along with like going to a casting agency. Both works hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely, Taj. And you talked about your series Loyalty a little bit. For our listeners who may not be familiar, kind of tell the story of what Loyalty is.
Okay. Loyalty is about a young lady named Loyal. She kind of got tricked into being initiated into a mob by an older guy that took care of her when she was a child or whatever. His name is Duke Gambino. So, he kind of tricked her into being into his mob. So she was like a hired hitman for him. And along with that, Loyu, she's like this big time girl, in the urban area that's connected with the drug dealers, and she has a lot going for herself, and she's pretty known.
Mm-hmm.
So, throughout the story, she meets a young guy. The young guy, his name is Esco in the show. He tried to come on to her because he know what she's about, and he knows that she has this money, so him and his friend kind of plotted on her.
Mm-hmm.
So he made his moves on her to try to get close to her, and she actually started liking him, really really liking him, because she's really a naive person. Like when it comes to love, she'll probably do anything. And so no, they started to get to know each other and stuff like that. She fell in love with him, and as he started to spend more time with her, he actually started to really love her and did not want to do what he initially planned, to get close to her so he could try to set her up in some type of way. And along with that, there's other characters, stars in the show that support the story very, very strongly. There's a detective in here that, is so head over heels over Loyal, and he
Mm-hmm.
covers up all the crimes that Loyal does, and that's the only reason why she's involved with him. And it's a lot of the characters in there that have some really, really interesting storylines that support the whole loyalty story. Yeah.
All right. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
it sounds like one of those shows, kind of like when you watch soap operas and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to the next episode. I can't wait to the next episode.
Yeah, that's how I kind of envision it too, like kind of like a hip opera or something like
Yeah.
that. Something, yeah.
I mean, those are the ones that you want your audience to feel that hunger. Like, what's next? What's
Exactly.
next? You know,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
I agree. That's very, very good.
Thank
Taj,
you.
Loyalty was your kind of like your first project. So when you
Uh-huh.
applied for this casting agency, you had a product in hand
Uh-huh.
beforehand. So,
Yes.
do you think that kind of gave you a leverage when, this casting agency saw your work?
I think yeah, it can work. I know like when you have an acting reel, that really really helps because they get to see the different parts of your characters that you can actually perceive. You could play a doctor, you could play a judge, or you could play the homeless person around the corner under the garage or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think having a reel is very, very important. So they can see that, you're not just like, I'm not just a loyal girl. I can be a doctor. I can play, like recently I played a nurse's aide, which was really like, I loved it so much because I'm usually playing an inmate or whatever. Yeah, so it felt a little good to feel different.
You got to
Yeah,
change careers for a day, right?
exactly.
And I
So
think that's
yeah.
the beauty of when you work in a creative medium, especially in the entertainment world.
Mhm.
You don't always have to be the bad guy. You can, be, I guess, the good guy, or you can kind of be
Yep.
that, semi good but bad guy at the same time, that in between.
Yeah.
So it's almost
Mhm.
like you're multiple people at one time, even though you still look the same, minus all the
Yeah.
makeup and wigs and outfit changes and all that.
Yes. It's fun. I like to flip the character and just do different things.
I hear that. I mean, do you?
Yeah.
I guess out of all your roles that you've played, which
Mhm.
character do you think resembles you as a person in real life?
Um a lot of people, honestly, a lot of people say that. I know one of my friends, they was like, "Loyu is actually you," but I'm not no killer though. I don't go around just killing people. I'm not a hitman, and I'm not a drug dealer. Yeah, I would probably say Loyu, but I'm not doing this stuff. She's very cruel. She's cold too. She's
Ooh,
very, very cold. That character Loyu, she could just shoot somebody and just walk away and go laugh and smile and go see a friend like nothing happened. But no, that's not me though. But a lot of people say Loyu is me or whatever.
oh man, Loyal's a stone. Kind of like you remember the wrestler Stone Cold Steve Austin. Kind of like
Yeah, right. He
Stone
was
Cold
hard,
Loyalty, huh? I guess hence the name. No pun
right?
intended. So Taj, you were featured on, Orange is the New Black. Can you kind of tell a little bit about your experience, kind of like what you did and um,
Uh-huh.
how many
Um,
episodes you were in?
yeah, I played an inmate. It wasn't no real speaking words, but I was an inmate in a jail along with all the stars and things like that. You would probably see me, playing cards or something like that, or coming out the jail cell off the bed or whatever, going out, getting a tray, stuff like that, kind of like background work and things of that nature. Um I worked with some very, very wonderful women on that show. That was one of the things that I really, really took out of that. And I formed some business relationships with some of the actresses that I worked with on several of those episodes. I did 2 seasons. I know that show has been canceled. I did season 6 and 7. I actually haven't even catched it this year or whatever. I gotta catch it up. But I really, really, really like the fact that I was able to go there and meet so many different people and then form relationships with them because they're all like thriving actresses like me. And I actually supposed to work with one of them. Actually, one of the girls I work with, we're actually going to work on a project together, a film. We actually have to meet up and kind of build it from the ground,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something that we plan on doing in the near future, definitely.
I hear that. And when
Yeah.
you were in the prison, what prison was Orange is the New Black shot in, Taj?
I know several of these were in a prison in Queens. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a prison in Queens, New York. But the main stage where we filmed at was out in Queens, Astoria, Queens. There's a big movie studio out there that they kind of build. It's like a humongous, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a neighborhood of like the studio, and inside that studio there's different stages. So we used to work in a specific stage where it was built to look like the inside of a jail. So that's where we filmed most of the scenes at or whatever. It's like a studio that they actually made to look like a jail, which was really cool. Yeah,
That
it was
is.
crazy.
That
Yeah, it
is.
was. Some other shows were filmed there. I think the Cosby Show. It's like really historic. The Cosby Show was filmed there. It's some other TV shows that's inside that studio that it's like a stage or whatever of their set and stuff like that. I forgot some of the shows. Yeah.
But that's amazing. I mean, the closest I've ever been to, I guess, an actual prison was the Mansfield Reformatory here in Mansfield, Ohio, where they shot the movie Shawshank Redemption. And
wow.
Also Lil Wayne's music video for Go DJ was shot there too. So that's the closest I've been to a prison and actually inside. That place is spooky though. It is.
Yeah, yeah, prisons are very spooky.
But it's interesting, all the, history that's inside of the Mansfield prison. I've been there several times. And it never gets boring to me because Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies. So I can go there anytime and be happy. So as you guys know, I've been doing this series for Women's History Month, which is in March. Focusing on women who work in male dominant fields. And, Tach is in one of the popular fields that is male driven, the film industry. Tach, I ask a lot of people this question, and all the people that I've had for this series. March obviously is Women's History Month. This year's theme is Valiant Woman of the Vote. Why do you think as women it's important to vote?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's important to vote because I think voting is like one of the most important rights that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely got to use it. We women, we have a voice. I think personally, I think we are equal to man in my eyes. So I think it's imperative that we all collectively, go down there and cast that vote to get the right person in the office that will, help us with, be the best, get our best interests for us. We want someone in there that's going to help us and pass the right laws and legislation that's going to benefit us, the people, So I think it's very important for women and men to get out there and get the right person there to represent us because they, in so many ways, kind of run our life, in so many ways, they kind of control our life. And we don't want somebody in there that's going to be, taking away, stuff that can help us or, putting all these laws that's going to hurt us. So we definitely want to get out there and take advantage of something that, is a gift to be able to go out there. Because at one point, women, or African American people didn't have no right to do it. Now that we have the right, we have a voice out there to make a change,
Yeah, and you have to want to make change,
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, you gotta want to make change, and sometimes we get a little lazy and feel like, oh no, if I vote, what is it gonna do? But no, these roads might get fixed, or, they might bring more activities and for the kids in the neighborhood, or more things that they can do. So and then you gotta be involved too. Go to the town hall meeting. Speak up. Let them know how you feel, what changes can be done, and what can improve our neighborhoods and the areas that we live in. It's good to be involved as well.
Well, yeah, it's important to be a productive member of society.
Exactly. Yes.
What cracks me up, Taj, is all the people who say, "Oh, I don't like the person in office." Well, did you vote? No.
No, I did.
I mean,
yeah.
You really don't have a say so because you did not do your part.
Exactly. We got to get out there.
I mean, it's always the people that complain about they don't like this, they don't like that. They don't go out and vote. They don't voice their opinion.
And then want to sit around and complain. Don't do that. Make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I think as people, especially women, since we do have that right to vote, we should do it no matter what. I mean, voice your opinion. I feel like whether your vote gets you your answer or not, I still think you should do your part either way.
I mean, we couldn't vote. Women couldn't vote. Is it 1920 or something like that? We were not even allowed to do it. So now that we have that opportunity, we need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, we need to take advantage of every opportunity that we have where we didn't, 40, 50 years ago. So, Taj, as you know, the film industry is very male dominant, like we, just discussed. How do you stay motivated, despite all the criticism that you may encounter from being a woman in this male dominant industry?
Okay. How I stay motivated, and I'll say this maybe 100 times. Always just by keeping the goal in my mind by any means necessary. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Who's going to stop me? Nobody. There's nothing anybody can say or do to me negatively that's going to make me stop. And I think that's what fuels me. And, when I do encounter negative, situations, it
Mm-hmm.
fuels me even more. So I take that energy and I turn it into a positive. And you just gotta focus on what you want to do. If there's nothing that I can't do that I want to do, and I might feel in my heart that it's impossible that I can do it, I'm going to make the connections. I'm going to make the calls. I'm going to get the people behind me that's willing to support me and exceeding at what I might think that's unthinkable or stuff like that. So I just go out and I just make it happen. Make my calls, get my people, get my support, and they'll make it happen for me. Just do it like Nike.
I literally
But
was about to say
that's
that.
and there's certain like aspirations that I use to keep going, like that Nike, just do it. Just that's one of my aspirations. Another aspiration that I use, and I'm gonna just tell you guys this little story. I remember I went into this job interview probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. It was like one of those little flimsy jobs where they have all these people come in, take a test, give you like 10 minutes to do a test for like 100 questions, and if you don't finish, you gotta leave. So I remember it was me and this lady, we left because it was like a silly job or whatever. And one thing that she said when we was walking out the door, she was like, forward and upward. And I like literally that stuck in my head till like today. And like when I'm out here doing certain things, I'm forward and upward, going forward. Then Kobe Bryant, he said just put one foot in front of the other one and just keep going. You know what I mean? Just go. Who's gonna stop you? Nobody. And that's how you just gotta feel.
Yeah, you gotta take that risk.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just go. Just go.
You just gotta do it. That's really what it boils down to.
Yep.
Taj, funny story about me that I've told a couple people. When I
Yeah.
first started in my broadcast classes, I was very, very shy. Not like I
Uh-huh.
am today. And we had to audition to be on Kent State University's
Yeah.
television news station called TV2. Well,
Wow.
well, I was taking a class to help with my performance, even before I did the audition for TV2. So we had other people in our class running the teleprompter when you had to read the script from there. I remember I did mine and I got really nervous. I felt my hands shaking, sweat is
Yeah.
going down my face, all the way in my nose, like just. And I
Yeah.
remember afterwards, I got up from the anchor desk and ran down the hallway and sat in the bathroom because
Okay.
I felt like I did terrible. And my friend who was in the class, she came down. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I did bad. It was terrible. It was bad." She said, "You did amazing. You were just a little quiet, but you read it perfectly."
Yeah.
And it was one of
Wow.
those things where I just had to get through it. I had to do it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it?
Yes, you're completely right. Yes, like that's how I'm feeling with interviews now.
Yeah,
Because
you
I know, when I came out there to Cleveland, you wouldn't believe I was nervous, but I just let it go. It's like, all right, just go. Then it was fine. Like I was like, oh, I could do this now.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to leave fear at the door. It goes back to focusing and setting those goals, overcoming
Mhm.
that barrier, the barrier that we put on ourselves by our thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, we can hinder ourselves sometimes. Just kind of, I guess, being nervous and feeling like, oh, I can't do that. But once you get that out your mind, you done. You
Yeah.
done.
They say
Yeah.
we are our own worst critic.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's true. I mean, my friends tell
It
me all the
is.
time, Portia, you are so hard on yourself. And I'm like, that's because I know I can do better. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But you got to work on it. It's like muscle memory. You got to build it. Yeah, and even if you fail at it, if you really want it, try again.
That's what I do. Well, all right, well, I'll do it again. It'll be better. And
I
that's
hear
how my
that.
show was. Yeah, my series at first, if anybody watch my series, they see the episode one, two, or three. It's kind of like a little quirky. You can see the flaws, but I kept going.
Right.
Audio issues and all of that. But then I'm like, I looked and I saw where the errors were, and I looked and saw where I needed to improve, and then I got more equipment, and I just really started studying and learning and you can see the progress all the way up to 8. Like, oh, okay, she got it down pat now. She know how to do it or whatever. So yeah, practice. That's all.
Exactly. Practice, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a mistake either.
Exactly. Yes.
That's what I think a lot of people have a hard time with, is they think that everything has to be perfect the first time, and no, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. Because I know I used to be like that too, and I used to be a little nervous and scared, and I might not even want to do it because I feel like, "Man, I'm gonna mess up. I ain't never gonna,
Right.
you know.
Everybody's
But
gonna laugh at
yeah,
what I'm doing. Tosh, I get it. I get it.
yeah,
Taj,
yes.
how can we break this stigma that men or women are suitable for certain occupations?
I think traditionally, I think that stigma kind of going to stick around for some time, but I think it is dying down, especially these ages right now. But I think it all really kind of boils down to just proving that you are just as good. Susan and Janet is just as good as Tom and Bob, and that's with proving with experience and proving with references to back you up. Have some old bosses or managers, co-workers, be able to provide a reference on you to let these people in these corporations and these businesses know that you are worthy of being there next to Bill and Bob to do their job as well. Um, but I think traditionally that stigma is going to stick around. There's so many grandfather companies and corporations out here, and they're just kind of stuck in their ways, and they're going to let all the guys run everything they've been doing for 30 years and things like that. But I think it's just really just proving you're just as good as that person, and go out there and show up and show out, show up and show out. And I think that hard work will not go unnoticed. If you're going out there and doing your best, then whoever's in charge, they're going to look at that. They're going to say, yeah, well, okay, we'd like to have you over here, we'd like to give you that promotion. So I think nowadays it's a lot easier. We have women CEOs. We have Rihanna, who is the leading which she's a musician, women musician out there. She's what, 600 million now. So that stigma is dying down, but it still exists. I think it's going to always exist in certain areas, but we're doing our thing. Women are on
Yes,
the
we
come up.
are. I agree, Taj.
Yes.
And I'm a big Rihanna fan. I actually got the opportunity to see her and Eminem
Wow.
in concert in Detroit a
Oh
few years
wow. I
ago.
would have loved that.
I drove by myself,
Oh, okay.
drove to Detroit same day and came back same day.
Mhm.
I think I got home at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow. I know it was worth it. I would love to see them.
It
Yeah,
it
I need
was.
it.
It was worth the money I spent. I spent way too much on the ticket, but considering where I sat, it literally, I
Mhm.
was within 20 feet of the stage. So
Oh wow.
it was worth it. It was indeed worth the time, the money, and the
Mhm.
fun. Thank you again, Tosh, for coming on and talking a little bit about the film industry, how you got in, and, giving some of our listeners some motivation. Maybe
Yes.
that's something that they are interested in, and, maybe they're just afraid, and they need to, just like me and you just said, just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it, just do it. So, Taj, that leads into my next question. If someone
Mhm.
is interested in getting into the film industry, I think a lot of
Mhm.
people aren't sure where to start.
Yes, you're right. As an actress, I would definitely advise you to start by maybe just doing like your own sketches and your own skits. Technology now, the iPhones, people are filming movies on these iPhone 11s now. You can take that, set it up, or have somebody film you. Do a little 30-second, 1 minute clip of you. You can make up your own little script, or you can, go to your favorite movie and repeat what they're saying and just go up there and put together a little reel. Get up with someone that might can put together those clips for you, put your name, your photo, your phone number in there, and at a small cost get a reel up. Another avenue that is very, very great, meetup.com. Just go into meetup.com, into like the film, the movie, the acting groups. There's a lot of groups out there where you can come down. They'll do something for like maybe 2 hours where they'll do like improvisation segments, and you could get on stage and practice. They'll have scripts for you to go over with other members there. You can do that, and then you can network with people there that might be able to tell you, hey, this is going on here, and well, you might want to come over here next week. That's another way that you can do it. And lastly, like I mentioned earlier, like castingnetwork.com and the backstages and things like that, where you can create your profile and have these casting agencies find you, and then you could go and apply to all the different jobs, commercials, and Broadway plays that need people for their shows and projects. So definitely that route is great. That's how I started.
I hear that. I mean, and you said one key thing, Taj,
Yeah.
networking.
Yes. It's very important to network. Someone in here, hey, how you doing? Where you from? What do you do? Oh yeah, and just starting up that conversation with them, and then just building, and oh, what's your email? What's your Instagram? And then hey, we have this going on next week. You might want to stop by. So you never know what the next person next to you may have an opportunity there for you. Just saying hello, introducing yourself. It can go a long way,
Yeah, it
very long
can.
way.
Networking is
Yeah.
the way to go. I mean, because a lot of jobs are created
Yes.
from just
Ex-
networking.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, Taj, a lot of my jobs landed in my lap from networking. My first
Yes.
job at the hospital, I was a
Mhm.
student volunteer at the hospital when I was
Yes.
15 and 16. And so when the hospital had an open position in the department that I volunteered for, they hired me at 18.
Yep. You're right. Um, and I know when I was working for the media company in New York City some years ago, I remember I actually found I started there as an intern. Yeah, I went on the internet and I found the movie company, and I sent the email over, and the owner replied back, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, come in Monday." And I was like, "Okay." So I went, and the first day I went, I was on set with ESPN. They were doing like this commercial, and he was like, "Look, I need you to go in there." He gave me a camera. He's like, "I want you to take like photos of the whole thing." He paid me, and then that was like history. And then like I kept coming every day, or when I could make it, and he just hired me. And then I became the production manager, and I was writing scripts for him, and I was just like, wow. So yeah, just not being afraid to reach out to somebody too. You reach out to 10 people, one or two might be like, yes. Eight may say no, but that one or two person or people might be that opportunity that you've been waiting for.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
agree. I agree, Taj.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
just putting yourself out there.
Yep. There you go. Yes.
Indeed,
And
putting
don't be
yourself out
scared.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Do not be afraid. Taj, let's
Yeah.
say one of our listeners, who's tuning in, may have an idea for a film, maybe even
Mhm.
a small series, but they don't think that the idea is good enough to be just bigger than just an idea.
Yeah.
How can they overcome that barrier of thinking that?
I just think the first thing to do is don't believe that it's not a good idea. Work on it. spin it out of control. Do a little, twist to it, do something different to it. And always believe anything that you do is the greatest thing ever done. I think that's what it is. And a lot of people told me this in the past as I was been doing what I'm doing. You might have like the lamest little concept. Like 1, 2, 3 went into the door, came out and went to ABC door. The simplest little thing. But if you go into cinematic films, sit down with the executive producer and be like, look, this is the best thing ever. And he might be sitting there like, wait a minute, you know what? Okay, we might take this on. I think believing into whatever you have is the best thing ever. It could be whack, but you have to believe what you're putting your time and energy into is the best thing ever. And that's how people formulate to you and draw to you when you're confident in what you're doing, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Tosh, we're about to kind of run out of time here. Just two last questions. What do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on outside of Loyalty?
Um, Yeah, I'm wrapping up on Loyalty now. I'm finalizing episode 9 and 10. Working on a feature film that I'm doing the groundwork on with my team. And I'm working on a Masonna Films mixtape. That's actually something I'm working on now. I've collected some music from some really, really good rappers and singers where I'm just putting into a piece of work and I'm going to put it out and have everybody download it and have it just go crazy around the world and stuff like that. And I'm working on this rap renaissance movement. I recently had a hip hop showcase where some artists came to perform last Friday. And with them performing, they're going to be a part of this rap renaissance movement where they're going to be featured on this mixtape or album, and I'm working on a summer concert where they're going to be headlining with some other artists, and it's just going to be like a really fun hip hop fest. I love hip hop, so I'm always kind of intertwined some way
I hear
with
that.
it. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on now.
All right,
Yeah,
Taj. Absolutely. That's
yeah.
great. Excellent. I'm very
Thank
happy
you.
for you. Taj, just
Thanks.
one last thing. If you could leave our listeners with, a piece of advice, what can you give them today?
Um, all right, what I can say is keep your focus. Prove your worth. Go above and beyond. And I'm a big believer that, hard work never goes unnoticed. No matter what gender you are, man or woman, you work hard, you will be recognized.